The 6th of January 2018, first kitchen chat of the year. And we're going to make this work. We're going to do it because you're going to borrow my car. And me, probably, because I'll probably want to get around. But actually, I'd let you, well, I don't know if I want to let you drive it in the winter. That's a specialized skill. It doesn't handle like a regular car.
Probably a bit like a Chevy Aveo. Well, it's smaller than the Chevy Aveo.
No, I think the
Is
closest.
it the Ruts?
I think the closest would be a small toboggan. Or a boat. It handles a lot like a motorboat. Yeah. So, and yeah, the ruts, if you're in the ruts, you don't fit them, so you actually, one side rides up and the other one rides down and introduces a counter twist.
Yeah.
Anything over 5 kilometers an hour, you will actually spin out of control. The first time it happened, I fetched up in the only driveway on the block. I spun a full 360 and sat with my butt facing the house, neatly parked in the driveway. I've had it happen on 8th Street, and I spun a full 360 right in the lane I was in. That's the thing, this car is
Holy crap, that was...
short enough front to back to fit within the lines of a lane.
Wow.
And it spins like a little top. Yeah, it's terrifying.
And the people around you are going, holy shit, look what I just saw! If they see it, you get a kick out of it.
I wish there was dash cams back then. And I do wish I could be a fly on the wall of what people were saying to each other when they saw this little smart car do that. I'm sure the general theme was, you shouldn't drive those cars in the winter.
No doubt.
Yeah.
But yet I see people doing that all over the place all the time.
Winter tires help. I didn't have them that year. A good winter tire is a big deal. And learning to drive it properly. The solution is to always keep your driver's side wheel, or sometimes your passenger, always keep one side on the hump in the middle of the rut. And then the other one, depending on how close the parked cars are, or the oncoming cars, will either be driver's side really close to the center lane, or passenger side really close to the parked cars. And you'll still have room because it's narrower than a regular vehicle. You've got about 2 feet of grace. And that actually allows you to drive between, like they call it white lining in California, where you drive between the lanes, like with a motorbike. This car's narrow enough to get away with that in an emergency. I narrowly avoided a serious oopsie by steering for that center. Because it was a packed freeway, something went wrong, as things do, and instead of a pileup, we had a smart car driving between the lanes. So, I like it for that.
I wasn't involved in a pileup. I was the first. I was coming across the bridge, University Bridge, 25th Street Bridge. Lands on 25th Street.
Yeah, people drive too fast and too close.
Oh, do they ever? And I was coming up to a whole bunch of them that were stopped in front of me, so I of course stopped. And I had more than enough room that the person behind me hit me really hard and sent me, and I moved forward, and I still didn't hit that car. And then the person behind her hit her even harder.
And whacked you again.
And and whacked me again. My backhand, you can't even, well, Fred's no longer, but I looked repeatedly at Fred's ass end, and I could hardly see any damage. And she hit me hard. And the guy behind her hit her equally hard, if not harder, and her ass end was trashed. And oh my God, was she mad. She was not a happy camper.
My Fitbit is signaling that it's time to feed the beasts.
Ah. That's what you're...
Yes, I'm trying to tell it to shut up. It's supposed to take 2 taps, but I find that 2 taps alone isn't effective. It's 2 taps, then it's 3 or 4 taps, then it's an angry pounding, then it's a gentle 2 taps, or some variation thereof. If you throw in a little profanity, it also doesn't help. I mean, I've actually taken the thing off and thrown it on the table so that it will eventually quit on its own. I should turn the thing off, but otherwise the dogs wouldn't get fed today until like about 7 o'clock at night, because the sun's not going down yet. The sun's supposed to be below the horizon by now at 5 o'clock. It has been for weeks. Exactly. No, it's not. It's only 3 o'clock. Then someone's trying to contact me on my phone. Oh, I left text message for someone. Let's see if that's what it is. Nope. What on earth? Why is this thing buzzing?
Interesting. 3 in the afternoon, it feels it needs to yap at you.
And there's nothing going on.
Your figure is psychotic.
On a Saturday afternoon. Maybe I managed 5,000 steps today. Not bloody likely.
For me, that's easy. I can manage 5,000 steps.
Yeah.
It's called I go to work.
I was doing it in the summer.
They don't let me sit the fuck down. It's like, keep walking, Tom. You got to do this. You got to shelve that. You got to route those. You got to check the bugs in that. You got to.
I need something like that. Gentle, constant exercise, because I'm not disciplining myself. I have not yet used my treadmill. You know, what I need to do is put the Xbox crap back on the other side of on the other TV and play Minecraft from the treadmill. The last time I tried to play Minecraft with the treadmill, what happened was I started getting vertigo, because the speed at which I'm walking in the Minecraft world isn't the same as the speed of my feet underfoot. They're not coordinated. But my brain forgets the frame of the TV and dives into the world that it's in.
Oh, wow.
And so then the feet are involved. And like sometimes just sitting and watching, you can get a moment of vertigo because of that effect. And it doesn't have, it just forgets the room, you know. You dive into the fantasy. You do that with movies. Sitting back in your chair to a degree.
In the 3-dimensional ones I can do that, but not in the usual movies. The only usual movies, the last time that happened, the screen has to be big enough for me. When I went to see Star Trek The Last Jedi at the IMAX in Regina, the screen is big enough. In fact, there were the scenes where you were looking at this person over here and then you had to turn your head to see the other person at the other end of the screen over there. You literally can dive into that. And yeah, I got some vertical moments during that, like during the fighter scenes where the spaceships are zipping around doing their thing.
Yeah, that's an example.
Yeah.
I think with Minecraft, the difference is that the Minecraft movement is under your votive control. You're not surrendering control to an experience, but you're actually controlling the experience. When I was at the mall doing that VR with the headset on my head, man, I'd like to do that again. But, you know, there really isn't an entertainment budget around here like that.
Yeah, no money.
You could consider our internet connection to be our entertainment budget.
That works.
But it's also a work budget. You'd have to divide it up and say partly budget for entertainment, partly for utilities, and partly for employment. But, yeah, I found that because I could walk forward and because I was in a very small bounded space, about the size of this room, in fact, without the furniture, that's about the amount of space you have in a VR box. I'm still wondering if there's a way to eventually get one of these.
No.
One of these setups with the bus.
No.
You know? And, Jack, all distracted. I haven't been able to figure it out because I don't know if the back space of the bus is big enough for a VR experience. That would be the ideal. If I could fold away all the shelving, like have everything folded away, just take the car out, have a space that you could set up one of those VR systems, the little VR rooms, where you've got corner boxes called the towers that feed information to sensors on your visor to tell the computer where you're at, where you are. Between the visor and the hand things, it can figure you out. And it also, they probably are reading where your body is in space too. I'm really not sure exactly. I think some of them, it's cameras and they're reading spots on your visor, your hands, and the shape of the room. But by the time it hits retail market in a real kind of way, it's going to have a completely different system, I'm sure. A combination, you know? Because this thing here can already do a 3D map of the room.
What, this thing?
Yeah, the Kinect. It's constantly sending out a pulse of infrared dots that bounce back like radar. It's reading how long it takes for the infrared to come back, the dot. And it's also reading the angle changes of the dot, because a dot that goes out straight comes back at an angle. It means that it's on a slant. and it's doing this grid array of dots that it's reading the reflection back from the grid. It's actually just seeing the grid of infrared light projected on us. And if it was real light, it could do it, but then we'd be distracted by all the dots. So using infrared that we don't see, it can see. You can actually ask it to show you.
Yeah, that makes me think of when CSI string a room. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
How they have all the strings going to figure out the angles of stuff. That's what that's reminded me of for some reason.
I have seen that.
Yeah. Okay, that one little piece, I want it to go away. It's bugging me.
Now you could spoon it out. Don't have any screen type things small enough.
Yes, just gonna say, have you got a screen about that size?
I will buy one when I find one because I've wanted it for this many times. What was that little bit? It's.
There we go. Now I'm happy.
Oh, I was going to show you what the SCOBY looks like. Here, hold this for a moment.
Hold this. Hey there, this. How are you doing? How are you doing, little buddy?
I don't know at what point I'm able to give a piece off. I'm willing to
you,
bet that I could get away
You
with.
seem pretty pleased.
I could probably get away with cutting a portion of this off, putting it in a jar with the liquid and sending it home with you.
What is it?
June tea SCOBY.
Oh.
You make a large pot of really strong tea. So I use a 4 tea bag pot and I use 8 tea bags. Green tea. And then once that's gotten quite cool, I take the bags out. So I like steep it for an hour. Then I put it in a jar like this and it's still warm. And I add a cup of honey. Or actually I think it's about half to 3/4 of a cup. Stir that dissolved. Then I add the filtered water. But you can't use just tap water. You have to use Brita water would work. To fill it up. And at that point it's a nice, comfortable, because room temperature is the temperature you're after. So if you're adding hot tea, you got to bring cool water in. So now what I have is a honey and tea mixture that's half as strong as I started. And I pop my SCOBY in that. And then because I have grow lights, you don't have to cover it. You could just set it on a counter. But I have the grow light as UV and it's UV sensitive, so I use this theater blackout velvet to protect from that grow light up there. Because it's probably not getting the UV over there anyway. That's also why I shove it in the corner where I do. And like a dark, even-tempered location that's somewhere between 65 and 75, you know. Warm is okay, but you're going to have to change out the food supply more often. With June tea, you're looking at anywhere from 2 to 5 days versus 5 to 7 for kombucha.
Is it SCOBY? Is that like a kombucha? It's a different version of it or something?
It's a type of kombucha as far as I'm concerned, but they call it, kombucha uses a SCOBY. It's a fermented drink. The difference is that kombucha is sugar and black tea, and June tea is green tea and honey. And I recommend raw honey. But I still don't fully understand the difference between raw and regular honey.
Regular honey is pasteurized and has all the stuff boiled out of it.
Here, let me pour this into that.
Whereas raw honey still has all the whatever's in honey that's good for you. Because I've found with leg cramps, if I have raw honey, or whatever, or natural honey, or whatever you want to call it, I have a spoonful of that. That actually cures leg cramps. I'm pretty sure it's not mind over matter. I'm pretty sure it's a spoonful of honey, and
that's
all
interesting.
The whatever's in honey absorbs into my body quite quickly, and within 10 minutes I feel a whole fuck of a lot better, and the cramp is going away.
That's interesting.
And I mean, I've done it with just honey, no water, because I know it's a lack of water that causes cramps too.
The sugar
and
in
I've just
honey,
hit
though,
it with the honey,
is different
and
from
then
white sugar.
have felt better afterwards.
A lot of
no
people
water
say it
involved
still
at all.
raises your glucose, but it actually acts differently on your insulin and on your system, your pancreas and stuff. Yeah, that's the booze water that I decided I didn't like. I will use the booze in things. I mean, I bought it primarily to put in my coffee or my hot chocolate.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't have enough non-booze flavor. He's hot and sweaty under his sweater.
Aww.
Do you want that off?
Are you having a hot flash, little buddy?
I think he's just overdressed for the day. It's not a real cold draft day.
Yeah, it's warm. It's
Oh,
not
that
50
feels
below
good,
right
huh?
now.
You
Yeah.
like that?
It's not 50 below, so.
See, but now if he gets down on the floor, he's going to chill. So, I have to get his basket. I will. I'm going to get his basket and put it on the floor here. And that won't be too bad because it shields him and shelters him and it's full of warm, fluffy things. And then we don't have to hold him so much.
Mm-hmm.